So, how is everybody doing? Alrighty then. So today we got confirmation that Sony is trying to buy Kadokawa company, that it's the company behind From Software and Spike Chunsoft. I think it's Spike Chunsoft that made Dragon Ball Sparking Zero recently, and Sony sends letter of intent to Kadokawa. And this is, let me read first. Kadokawa Corp has responded to yesterday's reports of interest from Sony regarding a potential takeover by confirming it has received an initial letter of intent from the company. In a newly issued statement, Kadokawa added no decision has been made as to whether it will go through with the acquisition or not. It reads in full: there are some articles of the acquisition of Kadokawa Corporation, hereinafter the company, by Sony Group Inc. However, this information is not announced by the company. The company has received an initial letter of intent to acquire the company's shares, but no decision has been made at this time. If there are any facts that should be announced in the future, we will make an announcement in a timely and appropriate manner. From a video game perspective, the most prominent outcome from such a deal would see Elden Ring and Dark Souls team From Software fall under the leadership of Sony. Kadokawa also has Danganronpa developer Spike Chunsoft under its wing. However, another very important factor is the ties Kadokawa has to the manga and anime industry, which Sony already has a large role in through the ownership of Crunchyroll. And there's not much to say, but I said this yesterday and I say this again. I think that Sony would do better if they put this money into the development teams they already have. Put the game in Naughty Dog, Insomniac, whatever. Just put more resources into the teams that they already have, so that we can have games more frequently, because as I've said yesterday, this year the only Sony game, PlayStation game that released was Astrobot, and even though it's a good game, it's like only one game in this year. It's a bit okay. They had Concord, but Concord was the failure that it was. And that's what I mean. Just put the money and give more resources to the developers that they already have. I think that Sony is doing this more for the anime and manga side of things, but I don't know. Could we see Elden Ring 2 as a PS5, I doubt it, but as a PS6 launched exclusive title, I guess we could, and I guess we will see. But I still think that Sony should invest in their own studios and not acquire more, because I think in a way that is it's the problem with Microsoft. They are so focused in buying more studios that they are basically ignoring the studios they already have. So I don't know. I think it's kind of a waste, but we will see what comes out of it. And speaking of Microsoft, Stalker's 2 technical troubles likely fixed by the time it comes to PS5. Timed Xbox console exclusive for 3 months. And I'm like, this is the funniest headline you can make. So you are saying that the game is bugged on the Xbox, but by the time it releases on PS5 it will be fixed. And it's like, why is it not fixed now? It should be fixed for launch, not 3 months later. It's, I don't know. Stalker 2 Art of Chernobyl launches today on PC and Xbox systems, and while critics are generally pretty positive on the survival shooter, it appears to have some technical rough edges. Of course, modern game development means that some of or all of these issues will be fixed with post-launch patches, so when the title does reach PS5 it should be in a better state. This is so stupid. This is the point that we are in the gaming side of things, that the game has some troubles at launch, but don't worry, we will fix it down the line. It's just, why did this game already was delayed? Why wasn't it delayed one more month or two so they could fix everything? It's like, I don't understand. Well, I know why they do it, but it's so stupid releasing buggy games and then we promise we will fix it. Just release the game in a good state to begin with. Why is that so hard nowadays? It pisses me off. It's often forgotten, but a while back Stalker 2 was revealed to be a timed console exclusive on Xbox Series X and S. This period, as far as we know, is for 3 months, and if we can assume nothing has changed in the interim, this means PS5 users may get to play it as early as February 2025. However, that's the absolute earliest we could expect to see the game on Sony's console, and it will likely take longer. Developer GSC Game World is based in Ukraine and has been significantly affected by the ongoing war, leading to numerous delays in Stalker 2 production. And okay, I understand that, but come on. It's safe to assume that the port to PS5 may arrive much later than the original Stalker games come to PS4 back in March, so we expect PlayStation version of the sequel is planned, and when it does eventually arrive, it will benefit from all the technical fixes made in the meantime. And one thing I find funny is Phil Spencer. Every time Phil Spencer, the guy from Xbox, comes and praises a game before launch, the game comes out in a buggy mess. And it was with Starfield. He hyped the game up so much, game of the year and all of that. The game came out, it was a buggy mess. With Hellblade 2, Hellblade 2 wasn't a buggy mess, but again, hyped the game so much, the game came out, everyone was disappointed because it was short and basically a walking simulator. Now, it was a week ago, he talked about this will be many people's game of the year and all of this hype behind. Game comes out, is in a buggy state. It's like, can you please shut up and do good games? Why is it so hard? It's like, I'm a PlayStation fan. I've always been a PlayStation fan. I'm not one of those fanboys that defends everything they do. They sometimes do stupid shit, and I call them out when they do stupid shit. But one thing I can say is, at least for the most part, if not all of PlayStation exclusives, when they come out in a good state. There may be some bugs here and there, but when was the last time PlayStation had a broken game releasing? I don't think I can say one. I think Days Gone was a bit buggy at the start, but not unplayable buggy mess. Okay, we had Concord, but Concord was just a bad game all around. It wasn't because of bugs, but I don't know, this just seemed like a funny headline to me, that when it comes to PS5 it will be fixed, don't worry. Screw the Xbox players. I guess. Next we have some rumors of EA going all in on Battlefield 6 in bold attempt to revitalize the franchise. The real battle begins, and I'm still sad what they did to the Battlefield 2042. I was hyped for the game, and then the game released and it was like, what the hell is even this? Man, I played so much. I started on Battlefield 3, I think Battlefield 3 was my first, and I played so much of the multiplayer, then Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, even Battlefield 5. And now it's and one thing that I didn't like was they changed the, it isn't class, it's classes that it's called, that they had the medic and all of that, and then they changed into heroes. I think it was something like that. But let's see. EA is pumping an unprecedented amount of resources into Battlefield 6, claims a new report from Insider Gaming. Essentially, the publisher is looking to right the wrongs of the franchise's most recent stumbles. Most importantly, it's keen to avoid another Battlefield 2042 situation, where the shooter was completely undercooked at launch in 2021. Of course, there was a time when Battlefield was a huge deal, a time when it could almost go to toe with Call of Duty in terms of genre appeal. But the series' reputation has taken a serious beating over the last decade or so, with the likes of Battlefield 5 and the aforementioned Battlefield 2042 failing to recapture the property's previous glory. And yeah, Battlefield 5, it's in a good state now, I would say, but when it launched, it had a good amount of problems, we could say. So Battlefield 6 understandably wants to be the big one. 4 whole studios are apparently working on it, with series veterans DICE leading the charge, flanked by Criterion Games, Motive and Ripple Effect. But as the report elaborates, everyone working on Battlefield 6 seems to have been giving a player-first mandate. The most widespread playtest in franchise history will supposedly ensure that the entire project stays on track ahead of its eventual launch in late 2025. Basically, we are looking at the most expensive Battlefield ever. We'll obviously have to wait and see whether EA immense funding actually results in a true return to form, but it's clear that the publisher is taking things seriously, and I hope the game is good, man. I really do. And I like this, to have been giving a player first mandate. This should always be the priority. Put the players first. Let's do what the players want. If you want your game to have success, you have to give players what they want. It's as simple as that. And next we have some well, it's not very surprising, but no plans for Cyberpunk 2077 PS5 Pro patch, CD Projekt Red confirms. Cyberpunk developer CD Projekt Red has confirmed that it currently has no plans for a PS5 Pro specific update. Many fans of the open world RPG have questioned the possibility, but the studio has only just made its stance clear via reply on X. For what it's worth, we actually got in touch with the company's PR team months ago asking whether PS5 Pro support for Cyberpunk 2077 or The Witcher was being considered. At the time, a representative told us that the team simply had no announcements on the topic, and we've been waiting on some kind of clarification. And yeah, they are making a sequel to Cyberpunk, they are making the next Witcher. I don't think it's that big of a deal not having a PS5 Pro update, but well, they can always come later and do what they did with The Witcher 3 for PS5, right? They released the game on PS4, and then years later they went back to The Witcher 3 and made an update to the PS5, so we never know. They can change their minds and do an update to the Pro, we will see. And to finish off with kind of the Callisto Protocol ONS in 8K with huge PS5 Pro patch, redacted, also running in 8K at 60 FPS. If this is true, man, that's impressive. That's really impressive, because many people complained about the game, but one thing the game had was awesome graphics. The graphics of the game, the visuals, the ambient, awesome all around. The gameplay, you can have it has its problems, but in terms of presentation, one of the best. Callisto Protocol, still a frontrunner for best PS5 graphics, will look better than ever thanks to a surprise PS5 Pro patch, which ups the game's resolution to 8K. You'll have two ways to escape the Black Iron Prison on Sony's supercharged system, 8K at 30 FPS or 4K at 60 FPS. Both options feature full ray tracing. In the case of 8K option, the game is being upscaled from 6K, but depending on the solution the developers using that could look incredible for all 12 people who own a compatible display. Yeah, because okay, whatever. Because displays of 8K, man, they are so expensive. This push to try and go to 8K, it's like consoles can barely, and even PC can barely do 4K properly at 60 FPS. Why are you already pushing for 8K? it makes no sense to me. Just focus. I think they are focusing too much on the resolution, and they should be focusing more on details on the game. For example, recently I saw on Twitter X a guy sharing the physics and interactions you could have in GTA 4 on the PS3, and even it's ahead of even the GTA 5. The way the cars destroyed, bend over, and you could grab objects from the ground. You could shoot the cops' arms out of their hands and they couldn't pick their back up because you shot their hands. It's things like that I think are missing so much nowadays in games, because they are so focused on resolution. But I guess it is what it is. But well guys, let me know down below what you think of possibly the sequel to Elden Ring and future Dark Souls games being exclusive to PlayStation. Let me know if you think it's a good idea or not. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.